morning, good morning, good morning. So we are here for Stat Snap Wednesday. Love it, love it, love it. All right, let's get into this. Hold on a second. I got to turn something up. Got to have my jiving music so I can hear it in the background. All right, so see, I have another business that I do online during the day as well that yeah, brings in a little bit extra income, but I got to turn the headset down for it. All right, let's look at the stats snap. But before we do that, let's do this. If you do find any value in this content and you're on YouTube, click like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and share, share, share. I can see your live comments right here. If you drop anything in the chat, I will see it. I will respond to it by the end. We will be done before 9 o'clock every time. All right, and if you are on Facebook, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and drop that chat. Drop that comment in the chat, just like in YouTube. Again, I can see the chat, so if you do have anything to say or you have any questions, because Wednesday is Stat Snap Wednesdays, and that's where we talk about the stats. Now, this week, or from, I should say from last week's stats, a little bit different. Yeah, I'm going to push that over my shoulder. It's really irritating me this morning. All right, let's do that. Let's put it behind me. Whew, there we go. This week, we've had some interesting things happen, and I do see an interesting trend, and I don't know if this is a trend that's starting to develop or if this is something that's going to change. It might just be something that was a blip for the last 2 weeks, but we'll know because next week we will be doing a quick snapshot of the quarterly, but a week from Saturday on our YouTube channel at Living in Racine, we will be doing a big whole full video outlining what's happened in the first quarter of 2025. So if you are a stats nerd like I am, that'll be like a 15-20 minute video where both Russ and I are going to sit down and we're going to have a discussion. We're going to talk about these stats as far as they relate to a quarter. Now, week on week is an interesting thing, and it helps us to know how many things are listed, helps us to keep up on the data. But honestly, the quarterly reviews are the more super accurate because the more data you have, the better it is. So this week, however, couple of things that are important. The 30-year fixed and the 15-year fixed did not really change a whole lot. The 15-year fixed actually went up a little bit back into the sixes, but it's been hovering right at that. It's still only 6.125 basically. So 6.13 is what it comes out to. And when you're rounding up, because 6.125. Anyway, so 6 and an eighth is what the 15-year is. 6 and 7/8 is what we have for a FHA, or for the 30-year rather, 30-year fixed. Be nice if I know what I was talking about. All right, 30-year fixed is 6 and 7/8. The 15-year fixed is 6 and 1/8 percentage as far as like your interest rate goes. But keep in mind, your interest rate may or may not be the same as those because there's a couple of factors. I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. I'm going to sit in that space for a second. Your debt to income ratio does affect the interest rate. So a lot of people, and this is a big myth out there, a lot of people shop around for a better, I'm going to shop around for a better interest rate. Reality is that doesn't really happen much. It's not that some don't have some incentives. Now, what you might want to shop around for are incentives. For example, if they give down payment assistance, or they're giving some kind of credit or bonus, or they're covering certain costs for you, like they're giving you not free credit check because that costs almost nothing. If they're giving you anything like free money, that is a better thing to shop around for with a lender than necessarily interest rate. Because your interest rate is really not going to change a whole lot. Your interest rate is based on you and what's going on in the Fed. It's not based a whole lot on the actual company. And here's where the problem comes in. If you go to a national companies will publish national rates. Local companies will sometimes put a rate in their window, but not generally because rates fluctuate so much, but also because they know the best companies don't publish a rate except for on that day. So if you walk in and you want to talk to me today about a rate, not me because I'm not a mortgage person, but let's say you want to walk into Johnson Bank, or you want to talk to Ethan Brooks, who we use from Fairway Mortgage, and you say, Ethan, I want to get a pre-approval for, to buy a house. And you go, okay, great, awesome, wonderful. Well, the problem with that is that, what are you going to do? Like, Ethan's going to say, the problem with that is that Ethan's going to say, okay, well, let's look at your debt to income. All right, let's look at your actual income, like what you have coming in. And let's look at how much you want to spend on a house. And let's look at what the national rates are. But ultimately, Ethan doesn't have much control over that. He pretty much has to go with whatever the Fed published, like whatever is being allowed for mortgage lenders to use. That's why the industry is somewhat regulated. So this idea, this myth out there that you can shop around, the only reason that works is that because some lenders will say, hey, we have this special package that we can put together. Like I saw somebody on Reddit this last week asking about, they could get $10,000 or $20,000 like free bonus if they took this higher rate with this lender. And they were like, okay, so what stops me from getting that $20,000 bonus and then refinancing in a couple of months? Might cost me $2,000 to refinance, but if I'm getting a $20,000 bonus when I buy, I'm still up $18,000 all in. And he's like, what's the catch? What am I missing here? And I mean, I actually had a back and forth conversation with him a little bit, and I don't think there was a catch too much. I said, well, just make sure that your lender knows that's what you're doing. And if they're good with it, then yeah, I don't see a problem with it. Now, that particular lender that was talking to him, I don't know if that lender is ethical or if he's unscrupulous or if he's just trying to get lots of clients in. I don't know that part of it, that aspect, because I don't know that lender. But I do know that if Ethan offers you and says, hey, we've got $10,000 down payment assistance from the DPP, well, I know that if he tells you that and this is the rate, if you want that $10,000 down payment assistance, well, then that's the rate and that's what's going to happen. So that fixed rate, keep in mind. Now, also you need to know that the rates, the national rates are not necessarily the local rates. The local rates are based on local economies. So that's the other thing that changes. Plus, interest rates change every single day. Every single day, which is why when we send these rates out, and actually these rates are from yesterday. They may have even changed this morning. But these are the rates that we send out every Tuesday. So if you are interested in getting the Stat Snap every week, then what you need to do is text Stat Snap to 262-676-2383, and I will make sure and put you on that list so that you get them yesterday. So you see them yesterday and you see this information. All right, so let's talk about this. If you were buying with FHA, your principal and interest today would be $1,906.78, so $1,906.78 for the principal and interest. That does not count taxes, that does not count insurance, and that does not count PMI, which FHA does have PMI, which is probably close to $200 or so. So keep that in mind. You're probably looking at an all-in payment of about $2,500 with insurance and taxes, depending on where you buy. And that's why we don't publish for taxes, because taxes vary wildly from municipality to municipality. So like Sturtevant has really inexpensive taxes. Mount Pleasant used to be. Mount Pleasant's not so cheap anymore. It's actually gone up a bit in taxes in the last few years. So, but Sturtevant's still really cheap. Caledonia has better taxes than Racine. So yeah, definitely those are the things to keep in mind when you're buying, that where you buy the taxes regarding the tax parts. Now, if you're not paying as much in taxes, also keep in mind you're not receiving as many services sometimes, or maybe, you might be receiving less services. So, for example, in Mount Pleasant, you're paying less taxes than you are in Racine. However, most of Mount Pleasant doesn't have any sidewalks. So, you don't have, I mean, there are parts, but most of Mount Pleasant doesn't have sidewalks, and Mount Pleasant's not putting in sidewalks. So as a result, if you like sidewalks and you like to be able to walk on a sidewalk, well, then Mount Pleasant may not be for you. Same in a lot of parts of Caledonia, no sidewalks. Okay, so keep those things in mind. There were 64 homes listed last week. 68 homes went under offer, so 4 more homes than were listed. So that means essentially all of the new inventory and then 4 of the old inventory went under offer last week. That's what those numbers mean. But the number that I'm finding interesting, and I want to see how this plays out over the quarter, or I want to see if this trend continues, 45 homes sold. Now, why is that interesting? Well, let me go to my thing here. I'm going to go to my mini market update from a few weeks ago. So if we were looking at this is from this week. And if I go back 1, 2, 3, Oh, I got to unhide a couple of them here. There we go. All right. So this week we had 45 sold. So we want to go back 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5. There were 50. Let's see. How many homes? Let's see here. There were 58 homes that went under contract 4 weeks ago. 60 homes that went under contract 5 weeks ago. So what happened to those offers? Like, if there were 60 and 58 the 2 weeks before, but this last 2 weeks, we've only had 34 and 45 of them close. That's almost half. Or 3/4. Like, if we go with 60 and 45 for this week, which is what it is, that's only 3/4 of them that are closing. What's happening? Why are 15 homes that went under contract not closing? Are agents not doing their job? Because if they're listing a good property and they're listing it at the right price and they're listing it being honest, that property should close once it gets an offer. And if it doesn't, there's only 2 things that cause that. 1, dishonest sellers, or 2, buyers that are getting qualified by companies that they're really not qualified and their lending falls apart when they get into the contract. So those are 2 really important things. First of all, if you're a dishonest seller, do not call me. Nope, don't call me. Don't even pick up the phone. Don't even send me the stat snap stuff. I'm not interested in working with you. If you are a dishonest seller, keep hiking, find a different agent. If you're a buyer, however, and you're unsure as to whether you're going to be qualified or not, you need to find out and go to, you need to get a good lender. Don't go to Rocket Mortgage. Don't go to these national ones. These national ones do not do pre-underwriting. Go to Johnson Bank. Go to Ethan Brooks at Fairway Mortgage. These guys do pre-underwriting. That means they do like a deep dive. It's like, okay, if you had a problem with you and you went to the hospital and they did an X-ray or an MRI. An X-ray is what these national companies are doing, and you get a pretty good feel. But what Ethan and Johnson Bank do is an MRI. They're seeing everything. They're seeing all the problems. Or a CAT scan. Like, they're seeing so much more and a much bigger picture of your financial status than these X-ray national companies. And by the way, even an X-ray is not really a good equivalent analogy, because it's really more like you're going to the doctor and you're telling the doctor your symptoms, and the doctor is prescribing you something without doing an X-ray, without doing an MRI, without doing a CAT scan. And what Ethan and Johnson Bank do is they actually go in and they do that X-ray, MRI, CAT scan, and make sure they see everything, so they have the full picture, so they know how to treat you as a buyer. Really important. All right. So this week there are 210 available homes to buy. So even though 68 homes went under offer, there are still 210 homes out there that are available to buy right now in southeastern Wisconsin. Now, some of those are $1 million homes, and neither you nor I are qualified to buy them. But there are 210 homes that are available to buy. And to be honest with you, that average price point of 300,000, 325, 370, like in that 3 to 350 range, that is actually where the vast majority of these homes sit, is between 250 and 350. So I'd say probably about 100 of them are between that 250, 350, not without you being able to buy them range. Okay, we are getting late. It is 8:59. I told you I'd be done by 9. Promises made, promises kept, gonna happen. Average price this week dropped to $293, but that's just a 1 week drop. Last week it shot up to $377. So I think we're gonna end up at that $325-ish average. We'll see next week. That'll be a better indication, because we do have fluctuations in price all the time. So I will see you next week. It's 3:59. It's 9 o'clock. Let's get out of here. Bye for now.